Welcome, artists, to our first warm-up with the element of art space. We are going to do a tiny perspective drawing because one of the ways that you can create space is by showing that things get smaller as they go back into the background. As they go further away, they get smaller. And perspective is a perfect way to show that. Now, we're not going to use a ruler because this is going to be small. We're going to do just rough perspective. With something this small, it should be very easy for you. We're going to do 1-point perspective, and if you're not familiar with that, you'll learn something new today. But let's make a small square, as we have done so many times, because we need something to contain this today. So we're going to make this small square, and then I want you to put a line through the middle, a little bit above halfway. Okay, that is our horizon line. A horizon line is where the sky meets the land. And right on our horizon line, we're going to put a single point in the middle of it. Now that is the vanishing point. In perspective drawing, that just means that's where our lines disappear to. So what I want you to do is we're going to make a road that starts from our vanishing point. There's the left side of the road and the right side of the road. Okay, so that easily we just created a road, and you can start again up here and do a very thin line. That can be the edge of our road, and this is the other edge of our road. And then you can also put a line through the middle of your road if you want. Alright, so there we've created a road. It's not very fancy yet, but it's going back into space. It's getting smaller. Let's put a set of power lines on our road. So I'm going to draw a guideline really light right here. And that's the top of our power lines. Now I'm going to start next to my road because I don't want to put them right next to it. I'm just going to do a single line. We're not going to make these super fancy. And maybe this first one's a little thicker, because as things get further away, they're going to get smaller. And so our first one's going to be kind of thick. And then our next one will be thinner and shorter. See how the top of it is hitting my guideline? And then the next one is a little shorter. Try and stay a good distance away from the road there. And then that last one we're going to put is very far away, and they should get a little closer as they get further away. And then I'm going to go in and erase my guideline. I've got the tops of my electric poles here. Right now they just look like trees or whatever. And which way do we want them to go? Let's go this way with them. Just put a top on them here. And these also should get smaller as they go back. Now, if we were drawing a big version of this, we'd make guidelines for the edges of our, the tops of our poles that look like T's here. You can put some wires on there. Okay, so now we've got a road that's got some poles in it. Let's make some hills back here in the background. Now remember that hills overlap each other. You see how I've got this overlap right here? And then you can tell this hill is closer than that one. This one kind of gets lost over here. Let's put one more over here to balance them out. And how about the sun right there? And we can even put some mountains if we want to. Just remember, don't put your mountains behind the sun, because the sun would be the farthest thing away. Alright, so then it's got some perspective, some depth. We could add a little bit of shading if we wanted to our road. So we can see that it's gray. Put my center line back there. We could add some, and now if you wanted to add a little bit of texture of grass, that's fine, but remember, as it gets back, it's going to lose some of its detail. Definitely going to get smaller. Okay. Now, if you guys want to get fancy, you can color this. It'll actually really help with the depth of it. Just remember, if you color it, to make what's in the background back here it can be very flat, no details, but as things get closer there's going to be more details. You might put a little more color in the grass. Back here the grass may be like a dark green, but as it comes closer forward it might have some brighter values in it, even some yellows. The same with the road. As the road gets farther back, those colors are going to get duller. So that's just a real small, tiny perspective drawing that gives us some idea about how to use space. So today is the 2nd of November, and this is tiny perspective. So I hope you enjoyed it. Come back tomorrow for another installment of the Element of Art Space.